Today's topic is going to be complicated. It's just as complicated if I am asking you to imagine a hot ice cream. Is that possible? Now, how would you make a hot ice cream? We are going to talk about the Council of Chalcedon in the year of 451 AD. The first ecumenical council of Nicene Creed, they talk about the big questions, either Christ is equally divine with the Father or not. Of course, after the first council of Nicaea, they come up with the resolution that Christ is equally with the Father. Christ is not creation. Christ is not subordinate or lower than the Father itself. Than the Father himself. The results of the first ecumenical council of Nicaea is the Nicene Creed, that is the ultimate formulations against the main heresy during those time, which is Arianism. Arianism believed the opposite. Arianism believed that Christ is just a creation than the Father. Christ was not equal with the Father. There was a time, the key word was, there was a time that he was not equal with the Father. For the Council of Chalcedon 451 AD, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Alright, so they all now believe that Christ is divine. At the same time, Christ is human. Okay? Jesus Christ is fully human, at the same time fully God. Now, the question that is being asked in the Council of Chalcedon is how these two qualities join into one without removing one of their quality. How Jesus Christ is divine or God, at the same time fully human without diminishing the quality of both. You see, like as I said earlier, it's a complicated topic. It's just as complicated. You try to produce a hot ice cream. How do you make a hot ice cream? You boil it, you melt it, but if you melt the hot ice cream, then it will no longer become an ice cream. It become a concoction of what? It's a melted, disgusting ice cream. It's used to be ice cream, but it's not. And then, you will never burn your tongue if you try to eat an ice cream, do you? Now, why do we have to learn about this topic? Why does it matter for us? Oh, it matters for us as a Christians about salvation. Suppose if Jesus Christ fall into one of the extreme here, that he is fully human, but then again, he is not divine. That means he died as a perfect human. His ultimate sacrifice, which is later on being accepted by the Father, it gives us an idea. In order for us to be saved is to be like Christ. In order for us to be saved, it will be depend on each one of us as a human. We need to be as good. We need to be perfectly good. We need to be perfectly righteous like Jesus Christ in order for us to be accepted by God. Now, what does that mean? That means our salvation, it will be up unto us. Our salvation will be depend on us instead of God's grace and God's mercy. Now, what about the other extreme? What if Jesus is fully God, fully divine, yet 0% of humanness? There's no humanity in him. Now, it means our salvation will be in trouble. Our salvation is being questionable. Why? Because that means God never incarnate. Remember that word incarnate? That God become human, God become flesh. Therefore, his sacrifice, it means, therefore, Jesus Christ could not become like the mediator, cannot become like the mediator between us and God. Jesus Christ's sacrifice could not reconcile our broken relationship with the Father. Because God is holy and perfect, and then he expects anyone to be also holy and righteous. So what I'm trying to say is, our salvation will be in trouble because Jesus Christ could not represent our humanity to the Father as a high priest who truly understands of our weaknesses as a human and our limitation as a human. Now, this question is about how does it work, how Jesus Christ can be fully human, fully God at the same time. It's been around even before the first Council of Nicaea. But then again, towards the Council of Chalcedon, it became intensified. Now, there were these three popular heresy during those time. There were these three major false teaching during those time. However, please be informed, Now these people, and they did not wake up early in the morning by thinking that somehow I am going to make a heresy this morning so the church will be confused. No, they were not like that. They were sincerely being kind. They were sincerely trying to find the best answer for that problem. How Jesus Christ can be fully divine at the same time fully human. They sincerely offer an answer, but of course, in the process, this idea, this explanation were lost in translation, lost in the human limitation of expressing something in our limited languages. The first heresy was made by someone by the name of Apollinaris. Apollinaris, or his teaching will be known as Apollinarism. Now, according to Apollinaris of Laodicea, he tried to answer how by saying that Jesus Christ had the body of a human, but the mind of God, the mind of divine. Now, why this is a heresy, why this is considered to be as a false teaching? Because having a physical body of a human, but yet have a mind of a divine, it does not qualify as a fully human. So in Apollinarism, it's being described, if I may use that weird illustration about the ice cream, Jesus with the body of a human, but with the mind of a God. So what you're having there is ice cream that looks cold, but then again, if you stick up your tongues into it, then your tongue will be burned because if it's hot. That is not an ice cream. So now the second heresy is made by a bishop of Constantinople, someone by the name of Nestorius. Again, it's not these people are not bad guys, okay? These people are not wake up in the morning and then decided to create a heresy. So Nestorius tried to explain the problem by saying there were two Christs. So he tried to explain the problem by describing that Christ has two natures. At the same time, Christ has two personalities. Now, he did not specifically enough explain what does it mean by two natures and what does it mean by two persons. That means Nestorius tried to say that Jesus Christ has a twin, has the human version of the twin and the divine or godly version of the twin. And then somehow these twin are being conjoined together. Even though through our experience, through our through our physical mortal experience, we can only experience, we can only see, we can only touch the Christ, the physical twin, but not the divine twin. So the one who died is the physical twin, but then again okay, I'm gonna notice. Oh, they're so complicated. It's just like a twin. Just imagine that Jesus Christ has a twin, probably more to be described as a Siamese twin. You've seen you have seen this kind of Siamese twin, right? So these are two personality, but they are joined as one, but they are not. They have a two different nature. They have a two. Yeah, it's very complicated. Again, if I may use the weird illustration about the hot ice cream, according to Nestorius, there were two ice cream. One is hot ice cream, and the other one is, I don't know, cold ice cream. And then they join into one. Yes, it's getting weird. Now, the third popular heresy that happens before the Council of Chalcedon, it was accidentally made by a monk by the name of Eutychus. His teaching will be later known as a Euthanism. Okay, according to him, there were these two natures of Jesus Christ, the human nature and the divine nature. And somehow, through the union between the humanity of Christ and the godly Christ, they become one nature under one union. It sounds very confusing. It is confusing. So, if I may try to use the illustration again with the ice cream, so that means there is this cold ice cream, and then there's this kind of hot melting kind of cream joined into one, and then it becomes something that an ice cream that is not too hot, that is at the same time the ice cream that is not too cold. So his explanation is not clear. It does not even explaining how this works, how this Jesus Christ, the humanity, and Jesus Christ, the divinity, become joined into one together. It was not a solid answer. It was not a boom kind of answer. And then what happened next is, prior to the Council of Chalcedon, there was this kind of series of broken-hearted heated argument, unnecessary violence, and then like mixed up with the politics, ego, and pride, which is causing a lot of people got hurt literally, and also like here in their heart. It will hurt the church unity in the long run because of that one. In fact, there was this kind of like one of the even create a quarrel of fractions of the people who supporting this particular heresy, and then against with this particular group who supporting this idea of Nestorian, against this particular group who supporting for Eutychus, and then against someone else. It create a different fractions in the church, and then they calling each others as a heresy. That's what happened, and that's what's going on. To make things more complicated, the Eastern Emperor also involved. This is the second, which is he prefer that Eutychus' explanation is the correct one. The good thing though, Theodosius had a horse accident and then he broke his neck, and then he was being replaced by his daughter, an empress by the name of Pulcheria. Now, Empress Pulcheria, he initiated the council known as the Council of Chalcedon in 451. In this council, they tried to make a resolution against all of these different teachings. Now, here's the results. I'm trying to make it super duper simplified for you. In conclusion, the Council of Chalcedon made what we call declaration of faith rather than another creed. It set up boundaries how Jesus Christ can be fully human at the same time fully divine at the same time. So, in conclusion, there are four statements that can be summarized in the Council of Chalcedon about Jesus Christ's divinity and humanity. First, Jesus Christ is fully human. 2, Jesus Christ is fully divine. 3, his two natures of being fully God at the same time fully human is clearly defined, not to be confused. 4, there's only one Christ, not divided, not separate into two. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the conclusion about Jesus' divinity according to the Council of Chalcedon 451. Now, to close up this video, I am going to put somewhere, I'm going to put it in the description box. I'm going to post the Declaration of Faith according to the Council of Chalcedon. Please read it. Do it for Mr. Jeremy. Alright, I think that's all. Thank you for watching. I see you guys next time. God bless you guys all. Bye.